Today we're going over the most insane gladiator deaths in history. Number 1. Flamma. It's around 130 AD in Syracuse, Sicily, and a battle-scarred Syrian gladiator named Flamma stands in the center of the arena, covered in blood and sweat. He's just won his 21st fight. At 30 years old, he's built like a tank, muscular arms crisscrossed with white scars, a crooked nose broken at least 3 times. The crowd is going absolutely insane, chanting his name so loud, the stone seats are vibrating. The magistrate approaches him with a wooden sword, the rudis, the symbol of freedom that every enslaved gladiator dreams of. Flamma looks at it and says no. See, Flamma was actually the only gladiator in Roman history to refuse his freedom. Not once, not twice, 4 separate times over 13 years, this guy was offered the one thing every slave in the empire would kill for, and he just turned it down. He fought 34 battles total, won 21, drew 9, and lost only 4 times. That's a 62% win rate over 13 years. You're probably thinking he was a bonehead who didn't understand what freedom meant. But here's the thing, Flamma knew exactly what he was doing. Most historians think Flamma started as a Syrian prisoner of war who got sold into slavery. Romans absolutely despised Syrians. They thought of them as cunning cowards. So every time Flamma stepped into that arena, he was fighting to prove Syrians had just as much courage as any Roman. And honestly, the life of a star gladiator wasn't that bad. Top gladiators could earn 50,000 sesterces per fight, which is about $2 million in today's money. Ancient graffiti in Pompeii shows female fans writing love letters on walls about their favorite fighters. It's like ancient Instagram thirst comments, but carved in stone. Flamma was basically the Conor McGregor of ancient Rome. Loud, successful, and absolutely loving the attention. Why would he give that up to be a free man with no money, no fame, and a Syrian accent in a society that hated Syrians? When Flamma was offered freedom for the 3rd time, he straight up laughed and said, "I'm making more money than anyone in Rome. I can have any woman I want. Leave the arena? What for?" The crowd loved him for it. Some gladiators prayed for freedom, but Flamma prayed for more fights. But here's the kicker. At age 30, ancient for a gladiator, his body was finally breaking down. His reflexes were slowing. His injuries had piled up. And for the 4th time, they offered him the rudis. He refused it one last time. His final fight came just weeks later against a younger Secutor. The area was packed. Nearly 15,000 spectators had come to see if the legendary Flamma still had it. 10 minutes into the fight, the younger gladiator saw an opening. His gladius punched through the gap between Flamma's ribs, just below his armor, and sank approximately 4 inches deep. The tip pierced his liver, one of the most vascular organs in the body. Blood erupted from the wound, not dripping, pouring. But Flamma wasn't done. With a desperate counterattack, he drove his sword up under the younger gladiator's chin. The blade punched through his throat and into his brain. The Secutor dropped instantly, dead before he hit the sand. The crowd erupted in cheers. Flamma had won, but blood wasn't just dripping from his side. It was pouring out in rhythmic pulses with each heartbeat. The liver doesn't just bleed, it hemorrhages. The arena attendants rushed in and carried him off the sand, with his blood leaving a trail like paint behind them, soaking into the stone steps. Over the next 3 hours, witnesses in the medical chamber watched Flamma deteriorate. His skin turned grayish white as his blood pressure dropped. His breathing became rapid and shallow, his body desperately trying to get oxygen to tissues that had no blood to carry it. He was going into hypovolemic shock. Around the 2-hour mark, Flamma became confused, disoriented. His pulse became weak and thready, barely detectable. By the 3rd hour, he slipped into unconsciousness. His body had lost 3 to 4 liters out of the 5 liters total in his body. At around sunset, roughly 6 hours after the fight ended, his chest stopped moving. A medicus placed his hand over Flamma's mouth and nose, feeling for breath. There was none. The man who had refused freedom 4 times died in a back room beneath the arena, lying on a blood-soaked table, surrounded by the smell of copper and death. Exactly where he wanted to be. Flamma's name was engraved on Roman coins. His face was known throughout the empire. The man who was offered freedom 4 times chose slavery. He literally loved fighting so much that he died for it, voluntarily. What an insane way to go.